The cuffs snapped shut with a sound so sharp it cut straight through the rain, and in that exact moment I knew this wasn't going to be a normal traffic stop. You know what I mean? It wasn't fear that hit first, not even anger. It was that quiet sinking feeling in your gut when you realize someone has already decided who you are, and no amount of calm breathing or polite words is going to change their mind. One second I was a tired man driving home, the next I was face down on wet asphalt rain soaking through my coat, an officer's knee pressing into my back like he was trying to leave his signature on me. And the thing that still sticks with me even now isn't the pain, it's the silence. No witnesses, no traffic, just the hum of the cruiser behind me and the officer breathing hard through his nose, almost smiling. He looked satisfied, like he'd just won something, like this stop was going to make his night. He didn't see a person. He saw a story he already believed. Black man. Expensive car, late night. In his head, the math was simple. And once that math settles in, it doesn't matter how wrong it is. But let me back up a bit, because the real weight of this story isn't the twist, it's how easily it could have ended very differently. It was late, close to midnight, one of those cold suburban nights where the streets are empty and the rain falls just hard enough to make everything shine. I'd had a long day, the kind that drains you without raising your heart rate. Meetings, arguments, decisions that affect people you'll never meet. I'm Malcolm Avery, 57 years old, former Marine, 3 decades in the judiciary. I've spent most of my life thinking about the law, writing about it, arguing about it, trusting it. That night, though, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I just wanted to get home, kick off my shoes, and let the noise in my head die down a little. I was driving my car, my pride and joy, a restored silver classic I'd spent 5 years rebuilding on weekends. Not because I needed it, not because I was trying to prove anything, but because it reminded me I was more than my job. Turn the key, hear the engine come alive, put on some old jazz, and for 20 minutes I wasn't a title or a responsibility. I was just a guy on the road. I wasn't speeding, I wasn't swerving. If anything, I was doing that annoying under-the-limit cruise you do when your mind is somewhere else. Then the lights hit my rearview mirror, blue and red bouncing off the rain like fireworks. I side signaled, pulled over smooth, engine off, window down, hands on the wheel at 10 and 2, not out of fear but out of habit, respect for the process. I've taught that process. I know the rules. I know the dance. The footsteps told me everything before he even spoke. Not careful, not cautious, confident, heavy, like the road belonged to him. He leaned in and blasted my eyes with a flashlight. License and registration. Do it slow. Good evening, officer, I said calmly. My license is in my inner pocket. Registration's in the glove box. I'll reach for the license first. That was mistake number 1. Not legally, socially. Some people hear calm and think cooperation. He heard calm and thought challenge. I said, license and registration, not a speech. He snapped his hand, drifting just close enough to his holster that I noticed it. Then he looked around the car. Really looked. The leather, the trim, the clean lines. And I watched the calculation happen behind his eyes. You've probably seen it happen to someone before, or maybe it's happened to you. That moment when they decide you don't belong where you are. Whose car is this? He asked. It's mine, he laughed. Not amused, offended. Yeah, sure it is. I handed him my license. He glanced at it, then at me, then back again. The name meant nothing to him yet. It was just ink. My face and my car told him a louder story. Where you coming from, Malcolm? He said, dragging my name like it tasted wrong. From work. At this hour? Yes, officer. He leaned closer. Funny. Guys like you usually don't drive cars like this unless they took them from someone who earned it. There it was. Quiet, casual, sharp. And I felt that familiar heat rise in my chest, the mix of anger and disappointment you get when you realize you're being reduced to a stereotype in real time. I could have snapped. I could have said, do you know who I am? But I've learned something over the years. Dignity doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just stays steady. I'd appreciate being spoken to with the same respect I'm showing you, I said. He laughed again, harsher this time. Respect? You're doing 10 under the limit in a car worth more than my house. Step out of the vehicle. For what reason, I asked, keeping my voice even. If there's a traffic issue, I'm happy to address it. His eyes hardened. I smell alcohol. That was a lie. Clean and practiced. And lies like that aren't about truth, they're about leverage. They open doors. Probable cause. Control. I hadn't had a drink in over a decade, but I also knew better than to argue on the side of a dark, wet road with a man who already wanted to prove something, so I complied. Seatbelt off, door open, slow movements. The moment my foot touched the pavement, he grabbed my arm and slammed me against my car so hard the breath jumped out of my chest. The cold metal bit through my jacket. My shoulder screamed as he twisted my arm behind my back. "Spread 'em," he yelled, kicking my feet apart. "Officer," I said, voice strained. "I am a federal judge. My credentials are in the wallet you're holding." He shoved his forearm into my neck and laughed. "You're a judge." "Yeah, and I'm the president." "Shut up." That's when I realized something important. He wasn't confused. He wasn't cautious. He was enjoying this. "You're making a serious mistake," I said, and my voice dropped into that courtroom tone, the one that usually makes rooms go quiet. "Run the plate, verify the registration. Arresting me like this violates federal civil rights law." For just a second, I saw doubt flicker across his face. Just a crack. Then his ego slammed the door shut. "Out here," he whispered, "I am the law." The cuffs came out, click, click, too tight, not double-locked, deliberate. He dragged me to his cruiser like luggage. My head hit the door frame as he shoved me inside. I didn't scream. I didn't curse. I stared straight ahead and breathed because I knew if I lost my composure, he'd use it against me. Then another cruiser pulled up. A younger officer stepped out. Nervous energy, careful eyes. He took one look at the car, then at me in a suit in the back seat, and his whole posture shifted. "What do we got?" he asked. "Grand theft auto," the first officer said. "Guy's resisting. Claims he's a judge." The younger one didn't laugh. He walked to my car, shined his light inside, and froze. On the passenger seat were legal binders with an official seal. Not subtle, not fake, real. He ran back, voice low. "You need to look at the front seat." "Not now," the officer snapped, already typing at his computer like paperwork could outrun reality. "I ran the plate," the younger officer said, swallowing hard. "It's registered to Malcolm Avery. Clean. There's a flag. Dignitary protection. Notify immediately." That was the exit ramp. The moment where this could have ended quietly. Apology. Cuffs off. Lesson learned. Instead, the officer leaned in and whispered, "We stick to the story. He was drunk." The younger officer shook his head. "I'm not doing that. You're on your own." We drove to the station. Inside, it smelled like old coffee and floor cleaner. The officer paraded me to the desk, slapped my wallet down, and rattled off charges like he was proud of them. GTA, DUI, resisting, impersonation. The desk sergeant, older tired, looked at me, then at my torn sleeve, then at the officer. Impersonation. That's new. I spoke calmly. He never offered a sobriety test. He fabricated probable cause. "Shut up," the officer snapped. The sergeant opened my wallet, pulled the ID, then the credential card. His gum stopped moving. "Come behind the desk," he said to the officer. The computer screen turned red with alerts. "Protected person. Do not detain. Notify federal authorities." "Take the cuffs off," the sergeant ordered. The officer hesitated. He might attack. "I have not moved since you assaulted me," I said quietly. "And the cameras are recording." Eventually, they let me make a call. I didn't call a lawyer. I didn't call family. I called a number most people never get to dial. "I'm currently handcuffed inside a precinct," I said. "Arrested for driving my own car." The voice on the other end went very quiet, then very sharp. "Stay where you are." Minutes later, the red phone rang. The sergeant answered and turned pale. "The chief's on his way," he whispered, "with federal agencies." When the doors opened, they didn't creak. They flew. Marshals, FBI, the chief himself. The room froze. "Where is he?" the chief demanded. The cuffs came off my wrists. The chief apologized. Sincerely.